back to another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, Vin frantically searches for his cheat sheet because Gigabyte has launched a new 1070. It's so adorable. Hashtag squee. And Steam releases a new beta that fixes compatibility for some terribly mysterious upcoming Vulkan titles.
Jordan already has his cheat sheet in front of him, and Action Hank is a little salty, but not about the pirates. And Valve lets you keep some of your money, because it takes most of it anyways.
Pedro is not a cheater, he just has the regular show notes. HTC splits the Vive into its own thing. Considering their past financial reports, probably a good idea. And one of, if not the, first Portuguese game on Kickstarter has been successfully funded.
I'm Vin Stone here at LGC Actual, switching all this nightmare fuel under the Linux, joined every week up north by our tame Canadian podcaster. All right, and all the way from space, Portugal, that man.
Hi.
Plage Morizzo himself.
What the hell was that?
Shut up. And again, the one chat room dynamic. Joining us, we form that special bit known as Cocaine Voltron. Before we get started, we like to see what's going on in each other's life organs. I think I'm just going to start this off because I think it was maybe Wednesday, possibly a Thursday. And I was like,
I think it was Thursday, then.
It could have been Thursday because I woke you baby up, didn't I? All right.
You did.
And so I was looking at it, I was like, I have some free time. I need to fill free time because I rarely have like just genuine straight up free time. I was like, okay, I've been putting off watching Preacher. Gone. Now I'm waiting for new episodes. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. What's up, Jay, baby?
Oh, well, I'm no longer employed. I've left my current company, taken a couple months off to decompress, so I'm free. Free. That tells you, hey Vin.
What?
You got a battery fitty?
Battery fitty? God damn it, monster.
Yeah, I've been there. Just pray you don't go unemployed for almost, or actually past a year like I did. For me this week I finished Penny Dreadful. Mm-hmm. That kind of ended exactly where I thought it would. Although I had expected them to sort of go on, but then it's like at the end of the last episode, it's like the end.
Yeah, I was like,
really?
Bullshit.
Really? Right there?
Yeah, somebody got canceled and wasn't aware of it.
Yeah.
Well, something that is not canceled, that is Linux Gamecast Weekly, and more importantly, our steamy horse.
But you know it is a bit canceled. It's Street Fighter V. It's our Steam
Linux
update
of the week. Okay.
Yeah.
Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. Wink, wink. Say no more because the Steam client beta update for July 1st. 2 lines of like, don't care, but that last bullet point is just a ginormous tease because they said fix compatibility issues with some upcoming Vulkan games, and all I read was upcoming Street Fighter V confirmed for Linux, Q4 2019. Yeah?
That's a conservative estimate.
Honestly, I think it's just because there's probably a couple new AAA Vulkan games that are not going to have Linux versions because of developer bullshit coming up, and they need Steam client compatibility, or else people will get pissy.
Yeah, this is not a Linux-specific thing. They very clearly marked it as general. So chances are we might get a Vulkan title at best. Probably Street Fighter V. It could be. Capcom did promise. We'll see.
I forget which one we were talking before the show started. And it might have been Pedro. I was like, yep, it's Vulkan for Doom. And I was like, but don't get your hopes down. It could be Vulkan support for another game not coming to Linux.
Yeah, no, Jordan brought up the Doom thing. It's Doom. It's coming. Yeah. No. It's probably another game that's not coming for Linux either. So,
well, Valve did something good, though, right?
Yeah, no. Now you can buy bundles for slightly less. As you may or may not know, Steam has their own bundly system to compete with the groupies and the indie royales and the humbly bundles. But now they've added something a little nice. You get discounted for games you already own in a bundle. I know that we've all run into this problem with humble bundles where we have like 1 million copies of that one game that we played for all of 5 minutes, but they keep throwing it in bundles because they have so many keys that they just gotta get rid of, and they're trying to turn a tiny little bit of profit off of it. But yeah, now you do not pay for games you own on Steam bundles. I would, however, have liked an option to like have gift copies, right? Because sometimes you want to give some gifts to people, or you have shitty games that you want to inflict on bad friends who you don't want to be friends with anymore.
Yeah, but the thing with that is that Valve is trying very, very hard to stop people from creating multiple accounts to, say, cheat or take advantage of the marketplace or a number of other things. And so this is basically their way of saying, okay, you want to buy the pack, you buy the pack the only way a legitimate customer would, and absolutely no other way. And it's a good idea.
Well, I can see another end. I mean, they should at least offer you the option to buy the bundle at full price with a gift option.
Yeah.
Yes, but
that's all I'm saying. Like an option. If you don't want the game, you don't have to pay for it. If you want an extra copy, who the fuck cares? Valve still gets your money.
Right. I mean, I was looking at it. There'll be some screenshots in the notes, so you can check all this Nightmare Fuel out after the business. It'll be on the web zone. But it was like 34% off initially, and then I logged into my Steam account, and it was like 73% off. It was a massive drop because out of like all the Valve games on Linux, there's like the three I don't want. So that's definitely a thing. But what's this about, man?
Yes. Oh, safe bets from the fine folks at HTC. Yep, they're splitting off the Vive. Sorry, was trying to stifle a burp there. Yeah, the HTC has actually decided to
you just gotta let it out.
No, they decided to split the Vive into its own subsidiary company. They call it the HTC Vive Tech Corporation, so it's the HTC
it just rolls off the tongue,
VTC. Yeah, they have two TCs in there for no good reason.
Hizzy, Vizzy, Tizzy, whatever.
Yeah.
But so what does this mean, Pedro?
It means that considering how badly HTC has been doing lately, their phones, as good as they are, which admittedly I've never owned one, but I've read reviews and they always seem to have good reviews. They haven't been selling particularly well, and seeing as the Vive has actually been selling like hotcakes, then again, when your competition is the Oculus, probably winning on that one, they decided to split it off, make it its own subsidiary, and try to detach the HTC brand about as much as they could, while still maintaining some some over it. And that's a good idea. That's
I think it's a very brilliant idea. Well, brilliant. It's a synonym for desperate, right? Right. Because HTC's not had a hit in a while. I mean, they were the bees knee organs for a bit, and
the HTC One X,
right? And that's went down.
But early Android.
Yeah, this is a move of survival and nothing else. They're like, okay, if this part goes down, let's move this over here because we didn't expect this Vive thing to like completely sell out at a loss at 800 wet, stinky caches. So there might be something to it, guys. Jordan?
Yeah, and they're doing the Alphabet thing too, where they can split it off into a million subsidiaries and funnel money from one corporation or one company to another one. It's standard stuff. But I'm curious to see what kind of advancements they're going to bring now that they're purely focusing on the Vive as its own product. Although I do think Samsung actually had a decent idea with the Gear VR. Mm-hmm. I think there's still some synergy to be milked from the mobile VR side.
Well, you got to think about it, man. The Samsung Gear VR is the closest thing to a functional Linux VR experience one can get.
It is running on top of the Linux kernel. It's Android after all.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
yes. Because remember, kids, Android equals Linux. But up next, you ever take a screenshot of your desktop?
No.
And sometimes your furry porn folder is just in the corner there. You completely forgot about it, but there it is for the rest of the internet to see. This is kind of like what happened to this guy
by the
from
most
Valve.
art-hearted person in the world. Ignore these two red things, but look in the left-hand corner. Come down, first folder, Left 4 Dead 3.
Yeah. It took me a while. I had to actually look through the comments. Like, what am I supposed to be looking at? Because I'm looking through every other fucking thing. The screenshot for this is going to be in our show notes. This is from the June 29th Destinations tutorial. from Tristan Rydford, I believe it was. He posted a screenshot of his desktop, and lo and behold, there's a little folder that says Left 4 Dead 3. Oh my god, you guys. You know what this means? Absolutely nothing. It means that we already knew that Left 4 Dead 3 exists in some capacity. Whether this thing will ever be released is another question, because, you know, Valve likes to shelve things if it's not getting enough traction. This honestly reminds me of kind of some of the shtick we do when we post screenshots of, like, fucking around with custom tabs of, like, weird shit, see if people are actually paying attention.
Yeah,
and I mean, for all we know, Left 4 Dead 3 just could be a very shitty 3D platform with bad depth perception.
I mean, it absolutely could. But one of the things that, you know, is like, okay, Half-Life 3, we knew it was, like, leaked out. We saw some screenshots.
Left 4 Dead 3.
All right. Come on, I want to believe. Fuck you.
No, I have to crush your dreams, man.
No.
Half-Life 2 was leaked.
Crush them like a Jewish mother crushes self-esteem.
Thanks, Mom. Anyway, my first reaction to this was, wait a minute. Valve makes games.
No, they released one game and then they put out hats. That's their business model.
Hats, like add-ons for Dota 2, gun skins for CSGO. Yeah, they're making a lot of money outside of the Steam store itself. Just outside of the games, they're still making a lot of money. So they don't really need to release another game. And yeah, well, I mean, we all know that even Gabe Newell himself came out and said, we will release a game with a 3 on the end. Well, hurry up already.
Well, it's going to be like those Kid Lemonade signs that have like a 3 at the end instead of an E. He's just fucking with us. But, you know, speaking of fucking with people, piracy hurts us all. It really doesn't, though. This is from PC Games, and the publishers of Action, or the creators of Action Hank, have made a statement regarding this whole gray market G2A stuff. So the developer of Action Hank would actually prefer that you pirate his game rather than give money to a gray market store to redeem the key, because he'd rather people play the game on their own terms, talk about it, hopefully spark some interest in the game itself, and maybe their friends will go play it after playing some couch co-op of Action Hank, because that is one of those games where after you play a couple minutes of co-op, you're gonna go buy that game to go fuck with your friends. And if you think about it, it's actually a very healthy outlook to have regarding piracy, because I remember when I was pirating games, the main reason was because I was a poor fucking student. I had no disposable income, and like having disposable income now, I've gone back and purchased a lot of games that I pirated back in the past. And if you really think about it, buying gray market can be worse than piracy, because at least with piracy, you know that no one is benefiting, as opposed to people who buy stolen credit card numbers, scammed small retailers like the guys who make Action Hank, and then cause them a bunch of headaches.
Yeah, man. With the whole piracy thing, it just like brings me back. Old man Vin's story. I was at a Corel conference in Vegas. Corel, yeah, old. And they asked, "Is like, who here has pirated software? No, who here doesn't have any pirated software?" Like, Linux, man, it really doesn't exist. Even the commercial shit. Can't trust me. I've looked. Not because I'm a good person. I just ended up had to buy it. But yeah, I mean, I definitely do buy anything. The big takeaway from this is, yeah, I mean, the developer's right about that, because G2A, even the developers, like, yeah, these guys are scum, and allegedly scum, but you know what we're saying. And that's definitely a thing. But when you give, you know, money like that, wow, I mean, you're just giving money to G2A only helps out the insensitive fuck trumpets who make a living doing that bullshit and reselling keys with stolen credit cards. So.
The only reason G2A is still relevant to this point is because they actually pay a lot of money to YouTubers and streamers to advertise for them. That is the only thing keeping them afloat. And this, the guys behind Action Hank coming out and putting the spotlight on G2A yet again after last week. You may remember last week, Ven, Atomic, and Strider were talking about... Yeah, Tiny Build. They were talking about Tiny Build and how Tiny Build literally came out and was like, yeah, no, G2A, they took like 100 and something thousand keys from us. They bought it with stolen credit cards, and then we got a massive chargeback, and we're losing money on that.
We should clarify. It's not G2A. It's people who sell the keys to G2A, because they say we trust our key buyers. That's code for, well, we'll just take whatever we can get.
Yeah, they're totally playing like safe harbor and like, it's not our fault, man. We're just the middleman.
Yeah. It's a gray market. It's a key reselling website, and that's
not when Company X, when fucking Bob shows up with 200,000 keys. Maybe something's going on, right?
And the gray market is worse than piracy. It is, because if you're a pirate, chances are you are never going to buy the game.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, be it because you don't have any money, be it because you don't have any money, or because it's a game.
Come on.
All right, fine.
Wrap it up.
Forced Showdown. It's the new Forced by the guys at Beta Dwarf. Full disclosure, they did send us some keys.
I think full disclosure, they Action Hank people sent us keys too. So, but
yeah, they did.
Yes,
they did.
That's true.
So yeah, this is the new Forced. They basically took Force, that old Unity game that we tried to play several times, and every time there was always something. But with update 44 ML, they introduced Linux support, Linux and Mac. But yeah, I actually got a chance to play around with it. Like, I think I sunk more than 6 hours into it. It's definitely my cup of tea. It's Forced with an impactful combat. There's actually some meat. Whenever you hit an enemy, the camera just shakes, and there's like that little freeze frame that's just perfect. There's some roguelike elements because it's on Steam, so I guess it has to have some of those. And there's a deck building aspect to it.
Yeah. Woo. You're doing so good, buddies. Until you hit me with that deck building stuff, and I was like, mother. It's actually pretty good. I mean, they really like caps. Somebody needs to buy them a new keyboard with it.
Showdown.
I know. They did learn how to graphic, though, compared to the original Force, which Pedro was saying, like the hit mechanic in Force, which is like your arm kind of moving through things, and eventually it would die.
You gotta remember the original
but one
Force,
thing they did forget to do was how to control it, bro. Because on Linux, it's like, hey, I see a controller. You can't use it. You can't configure anything. And that's with my Xclone controller. Tell us about the Steam.
Yeah, for me, I was being left-handed and liking, using the mouse on the left hand and using the directional keys with the right, and the game keeps defaulting to WASD whenever I restart it, even after I change it. It seems to forget about it. I have no idea why, but I was actually very, very surprised when I started playing the game. It was like, this looks familiar. What was that game with the stupid bobbleheads we played a while back? Oh, that's right, Flame Break. This is what Flame Break could have been if the aesthetics hadn't been so bad. It's fucking bobbleheads. And it had a deck building system similar, not entirely the same, but kind of like Hand of Fate.
Yeah, I mean, we've been getting press emails from these guys for a while, and all of them have been like, yeah, available for Windows. So I'm glad they finally have some fucking Linux support. Yeah. Finally. But then I think the cold doesn't bother you, does it?
No, the Interstellar Marines. Okay, this is a bit late. I know about a month late on this, but Interstellar Aspirations. Time for a dimensional shift of, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Yes, we are talking about the game that has been in early access before early access exists. I mean, total time, roughly 10 plus years. Oh, right. No, man, this makes Overgrowth look like a very timely project. But I do apologize for a bit of late reporting, and I can talk over you all day because lung capacity. Just bring it, son. So after 10 years in development and raising $5 million just on Steam, they just need another 1.7 million, and they will totes finish this game that they've had in development. And it looks like, some Babby's first Unity project. And yes, they are absolutely looking for a publisher. And,
the cynicism.
Just quit laughing. You got to check with the judge on this one. I mean, either they're fuck-mothering delusional and, they think they're... will actually get a developer or a publisher. Let me say that, a publisher. Or this is just another in a long long line of them going, see, guys, we can't leave early access, but keep buying the game, right?
Well,
I don't know. I never
the only
gave a shit about Interstellar Marines. That was... I actually asked the question before we started recording. What the fuck was this game about anyways? Because I thought it was like a strategy game. No, it's a first-person shooter.
Yeah, it's a Unity first-person shooter that has a stupid bug that you have a controller plugged in. It's always turning to the right and looking up.
I
But
remember that.
Wait, that's not how you play shooters? Shit.
Now, admittedly,
thing-
when this first launched, when we first got the Steams for the Linuxes, and that was definitely a thing. It looked really good, and you're like, okay, progress. Fast forward 3.5 years later, Pedro.
still in the exact same spot, and I like their cynicism on this announcement. It's like, oh, you can visit this link to see how many publishers we've contacted, and if we got, like, you know, to see the status of where we are with those publishers. Like, I don't think any of those publishers want you to disclose that information.
Right. Well, they definitely contacted them, but you know, I could ring up Microsoft tomorrow, be like, "Hey man, you want to sponsor the show?"
Oh yeah, no. What was that one? We contacted the Salt and Sanctuary guys once, twice,
I don't know.
3 times, Pedro.
Twice.
Oh, but coming up next, AMD can count to crimson, not really, and something explosions. It's the 4th of July, man. It's perfectly timed.
You really should be watching us live, because if you're not, you're missing a lot. You're missing a lot of good stuff. But hey,
You're
this
missing the
would typically-
cheese.
This would typically be the news segment, but before we get to that, there's some very special people we'd like to thank.
Our parents?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, speaking of cheddar, speaking of cheddar, those lovely human organs who donate on Patreon, patreon.com/LinuxGameCast. We also have our own website, linuxgamecast.com/support-the-chosen, where we have some lovely PayPal links. We got some Amazon affiliate links, which we're terrible for not using because it's free money to us, but you should use them anyways. And some PayPal buttons. But of course, for everyone who wants to just give us the best quality support, you can head on over to Patreon. Sign up. 5 cents a show. That's really all we're asking for. That gets you access to a lot of cool shit. Gives you access to the Wolf Slayer. It's a special sauce on the chat realm. You get to see our Let's Play videos a week before they're posted. You get to see, well, you don't get to see Weekly Daily Wednesdays exclusively anymore because that's a full-time show. But, you know, if you wanted to be the pro hipster for the next time we launch a new show, check out Patreon. We're still headed towards our new goal of $100 or $200, where I get to play Serious Sam and hate myself. But you know, we got some people we want to thank, and that's Evandro A and Frere, who have both been lovely people who are giving us money to support this distortion. Hosting this shit gets expensive, and every little bit helps.
Well, hey
Can't
man, it's
afford
not necessarily a freebie, because I think there's almost 80 exclusive videos still just for Patreons that we've produced since we've started this.
And only 50% of them are Ven, Pedro, or I masturbating on camera. It's kind of brilliant.
Well, the Patreon doesn't really discriminate against adult content.
But Twitch does.
Let's get into some news proper, shall we? We don't start with the usual drivers, sort of, but we start with Mr. Liam Gallagher from AMD saying that they're launching a new beta thing for Radeon software, which you can actually join. And if you say, yeah, you go, like Ven's showing you there, you can actually pick Linux on the OS thing. One thing I did notice while I was filling out the form is that they specifically require you to say which model of AMD GPU you have, but on the CPU, they don't say AMD CPU. That's how much faith AMD has in their own CPUs. I'm the idiot that bought the FX 8370E a couple of months ago. But whatever. It's a beta, as it were, for upcoming Radeon software. And that kind of left me wondering, there is no Radeon software on Linux.
Well, I mean, they must be talking about, well, they mentioned the Crimson Edition drivers, right? So that must be FGLRX, because why else would they release the Crimson drivers that are literally just FGLRX?
Because it's AMD.
But
Shut up. Shut up! Listen, man. You're just biased against AMD. They have a plan, you know, and it's gonna take over the world. And
yeah, they have a plan. We'll get to that in a second.
Tired of
They actually deprecated.
Video. What?
They actually deprecated the AMD Catalyst Control Center Linux Edition along with FGLRX. So, what exactly is this Linux beta for?
Listen, they're gonna send you a zip file because they can't figure out tar.gz containing their like hacked up Mesa branch that you can use. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Just remember, sign up for the beta and make sure you have GIMP installed because you will probably still need those.
Yeah,
help
you
files.
will need the help files. Yeah.
Okay.
Or else you may die. But you know, speaking of explosive news. You may have heard about this new video card that AMD has released, the Radeon 490X, where supposedly two of them are more powerful than a 1080.
RX 480. Jordan, come on, we don't need to give Monster Cameron more ammo. RX 480.
Oh, what RX 480? Did I not say 480?
No,
Whatever.
You said the R480X or 490X or something along those lines.
I listen, Pedro, I think you're a little too drunk for this show. You should maybe take a nap. Anyways, one of the big things about this card was that, much like the 750, you can just pop it into your PCI port and away you go. Except it's not really that simple.
Well, you need
because
it has a 6-pin.
6-pin, yeah.
Oh, it has the 1.6-pin? Yeah, well, apparently it's hitting the edge of what you can actually it's gone beyond the edge of what you can actually call PCIe certified.
Far
in terms of
beyond.
power consumptions. So they're actually at risk of losing their PCIe certification. They can't actually call this a PCIe card anymore because it no longer Morty adheres to the specs, even though it may work if you plug it in. The PC Per article, they were talking about possibly overclocking it and realizing they value their lives a little more than a bit of extra GPU.
What are you talking about, Brad? We get 3 of these and we play some Metro. Blam!
Yeah, well,
that's
it'll
the
create an
thing.
explosion
AMD
the size of the cataclysm that caused Metro, for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, a bunch of AMD fanboys were going on about, the RX 480 actually supports 4-way crossfire, while the 1070 and the 1080 from NVIDIA only support 2-way SLI. Eat that! And then this comes out, and I'm like,
Well, I mean, if we're going to be fair, here's the biggest thing. I want everyone to take away from this. Don't buy the reference design, okay? I understand they're like, hey guys, it's low power. It's really not if you try to overclock it, and overclocking is kind of dismal for this card. Wait for dual 6-pin or an 8-pin to come out. Save yourself that headache. But another thing, I would like to riddle me this. Why did they get rid of the DVI on a budget card? I mean, it's not like people are like, oh, well, I just bought the new Dell 42-inch, 120 hertz. I'm still going to keep talking 4K display, and I'm going to connect that to my budget card. That doesn't happen like that, Brad. It's usually
it has an HDMI out, though, so you can just plug one of those $5 adapters. And probably
right. If that new monitor supports the HDMI spec or whatsoever, but I mean, let's say you got an older card, you're going to have to get an adapter, period.
yeah.
I mean, an older monitor.
That's true. Honestly, the funniest thing about this reminds me of a couple months back we were talking about that PCI powered 950 that was pushing the edge of that 75 watt power bracket. We were a little concerned about that. Then AMD's like, "Lol, noobs! This is how you really blow up a motherboard."
Yeah, and if you look at the PC Per article, you can actually see running. I think it was Metro Less
Didn't it
Light
like
at
200?
4K. Yeah, it was hitting on the PCIe bus. It was actually hitting almost 80 watts, and it was basically the exact same thing on the 6-pin extra power connector. And if you hit like 80, 100 watts on the 6-pin connector, that's fine. They were rated at 75, but they actually support upwards of like 200 watts. So if they were actually pulling that from the 6-pin power connector, that would have been fine. But they're not.
Speaking of which, a lot of the fanboys were going on about, they're not taking power readings correctly. No, this was a measurement done right off the rail. So fuck you.
PC Pro absolutely did it right. And a lot of people's like, no, it's not a real thing. You're just making it up, until AMD just came out and they're like, oh, by the way, yeah, all right, it's a fucking problem. Okay, our bad. Yeah, Houston, we do have a fuck mothering problem. They are working on a fix. They said, oh, we're already testing a driver that implements a fix, and we'll provide an update to the community on our progress on Tuesday because Monday is Freedom Day in the States.
Also, it's probably not going to be under Linux, so make of that what you will.
Oh no.
But you know what? Speaking of,
hang on. One thing I do want to say. Here's something I'm kind of genuinely concerned about. Will this fix, quote unquote, hack, hurt the performance of the card?
I guarantee it will. Yeah,
they're going to undervolt it.
You require a certain amount of electricity to run the card, right? If you're throttling it, you're not going to get the same performance. But speaking of itty bitty, cute, tiny, cute, adorable cards, NVIDIA has before us.
Teeny tiny one.
Yeah, look at it. It's so cute.
It's
a Gigabyte GTX 1070 Mini ITX OC Edition. That is right. This thing is overclocked slightly faster than the Founders Edition on the same thing. I originally wanted to call it just the 70, but I'm going to call it the 1070 Nano. I couldn't find anywhere in this article asking about the power. You're seeing two DVIs on here. I'm guessing a DisplayPort and a HDMI. But if this thing only takes one 6-pin power connector, I'm going to literally, genuinely roll on the floor fucking laughing.
Yeah.
No, because honestly, we're going.
Yeah, comparatively speaking, this is more powerful than every single other Maxwell card and every offering that AMD has right now. It's stupidly small. And Ven was bringing up the fact that, if it only has a 6-pin power connector compared to the RX 480 that we just talked about, but in all things considered, an 8-pin power connector is just a 6-pin with the extra 2 grounds for safety, so they can actually get upwards of those 200 watts from it. Not exactly, but you know what I'm getting at.
You know what I want to know is where's the low profile version with the 8-inch heatsink?
Oh, you mean just vertical, where you have a PCI extender to stick it in your last one to balance it out to keep it from snapping?
Yeah, exactly. that would make me straight up very happy, and also very poor as I go buy one for the Steam box. But speaking of money, Twitch really wants yours, and they want to skirt PayPal, and so they have this new system out. We can't use it on this channel because we're not popular enough, because we're not part of the cool kids club. But it is cheering. You can buy cheers for a penny a cheer, or it's a penny and 1.4 cents per cheer. And then if a streamer does something you like, you can make it rain using these custom little emotes.
I don't know, man. I was definitely looking at this, and first of all, I think Total Bisquick kind of pointed out that a lot of the larger streamers no longer run ads because it kills their numbers.
Mm-hmm. Right, and what I was going to get at was Twitch already has subscription options and other revenue sharing models as well. So I sort of find it odd that they open this demo up for the big streamers like Strip and Dodger and Total Bisquick. And all
I think it's a good way for them to get additional revenue, and for Twitch, because they're going to be taking a cut on intake and outtake. When you buy it, they're going to get a cut, and when you give it, they're going to get when you receive it, they're going to get a cut of that. And finally, lads, we will be able to dance for tokens, just like, yeah, right.
My free cams, that's the one you're thinking. Yeah, and we already sort of do.
True. I mean,
there's definitely a psychology element behind this, because micro donations, say, I don't know, pulling an example out of my ass, 5 cents a show, they do add up. After a while, and psychologically speaking, it's easier to justify 5 cents than making, say, a full-blown one-time $10 donation. I get it. I'm a little concerned about how this would actually engage with the community, though, considering, you're basically rationing out your little donation. This kind of reminds me of Flatter. Remember that tipping service that never really took off?
But you were saying you didn't realize how would people get it? And I couldn't find a way to type it out. Here's how it's going to become a thing, because little Timmy, mom is going to hear, but ma'am, I need to give cheers, and she's like, God damn it, here's 5. Here, I'll put 5 on your account. Go shut up and go play your games.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it goes. And this way, they get to circumvent PayPal and other third-party devices like Patreon, which means they get a cut that they never did with those other services.
They already can, though, because there's this thing. It's called Amazon payments. You may have used it when you're buying things off Amazon.
Which we keep on forgetting whenever we buy stuff from Amazon. We do have affiliate links. Check those out.
Yeah,
I what I'm talking about.
They did come back, because there was a lot of hubbub. It was like, oh, pitchforks and all that. With this business, Twitch came back and they kind of had a rebuttal and they answered the questions, that they should have had when they first launched this or even announced it. They're like, we're not going to block PayPal, which if you read that through that, they're like, for now. So
yeah,
keep that in mind. But live long and prosper, baby.
Yeah, no, sometimes you want to play some Smash Brothers or some Sonic 2006 because you hate yourself. And you're running Linux, so you have to, and you haven't gone out and bought a Wii, so you got to use Dolphin, everyone's favorite Wii/GameCube emulator. Now, this is an RFC work in progress type thing. This is not official yet. This is someone putting this out there. This is a work in progress Vulkan backend for Dolphin. Now, I find this interesting because if you look at sort of the history of a lot of these next gen quote unquote emulators from the Gen 6 console space, you're gonna realize that a lot of the advanced graphical shit for like GPU offloading is done in DirectX a lot. With PCSX2, we didn't actually get fully supported hardware-based OpenGL acceleration until very recently. So now, but using a common core for the graphics stack, Vulkan in this case, would actually mean that improvements you make for your graphics stack impact all the platforms that you do support, which is actually kind of nice, especially for an open source project like Dolphin. And yeah, hopefully this gets some traction because it's an interesting project. It's going to be a lot of work because you're trying to map like an entirely reverse engineered GPU backend to another entirely different low level assembly language. So that's going to be some nightmare fuel.
It's preferable to say DX12, which they were actually working on not too long ago.
Right.
Why they even committed resources to working on DX12 when Dolphin as an emulator already supports a multitude of different operating systems? Basically everything it can compile on.
Because developer familiarity. They know DirectX and that's all they want to do because learning is hard.
No, they don't know DirectX. They know Visual Studio. Visual Studio makes all...
Shut up, Pedro. Easier. It's the same thing if my computer science course at university has anything to say about it.
Yes. All right. Ben, apparently you tried this one too?
Yeah, this is definitely a thing, man. I mean, it causes your screen to nope. So, here's a Newerth. You basically get to play footy with, footy with your heroes of Newerth.
Football!
Meh. And anybody else got any thoughts on this?
Football. Yes. Yeah, it's Heroes of Newerth. It was the MOBA game for Linux a while back before Dota 2 finally made its way.
Well, it had a Linux client before Linux gaming was really a thing, right?
They did. So they really did.
You know what? They get bumps for that. That alone.
Admittedly, I cut him a little bit of slack for it, but not a whole lot, because Ven actually pointed out in the show notes that the game, when you first try to start it on an up-to-date distro with the NVIDIA proprietary drivers, it creates an opcode error that just basically translates to failed to create X window. So I googled for that. I found the what exactly you needed. Apparently there's some issue with the way the NVIDIA proprietary drivers handles mode setting on the kernel modules. So you have to actually tell the game to not look for specific mode settings on the auto start config file, whatever.
Is it a command line option? Are we going to post this anywhere so that
no, it's just a config file. All you have to do is edit it and just set
you should maybe toss a screenshot in the show notes so that the lovely people who are...
I'll put it in the notes. But I did that, kind of got it to start, but then, you need an account. Of course you do. So I created an account and I got a little screenshot that it reads something like, sorry, we are denying your account creation. Could not authorize transaction.
No Pedro's allowed.
Okay, so I went to their site, created the exact same account there. The exact same thing happened. So I went to GS Arena or whatever it's called. It's the new service. Created the account there. The exact same thing. Well then, fuck you and fuck your game.
Did you tie an onion on your belt because it was the style at the time?
I have no idea what the hell is going on here, but they clearly don't want me playing your game, and I have better stuff to do than to play a frickin' MOBA.
That's just because you hate footy. But Space Portugal did good.
Ooh, yes they did. Gritty Guns, the Metal Slugvania inspired game. Is like kind of Metal Slug, kind of Castlevania, kind of Metroid. It's they actually had a Kickstarter and they sent us keys for the demo on Steam, so they definitely did it right. And they pulled it off. Kind of at the last minute, well, kind of at the last 3 days, actually. But they were successfully
bump is real.
Yep.
We take full credit for this. But sorry, Greedy Guns devs. You had nothing to do with this. This is all us.
Yeah, they were asking for £10,000 and they got 11,653. So they pulled it off, and this is, if not the first, it's definitely one of the first Portuguese games on Kickstarter, and it's definitely the first one to actually succeed. So while it's not exactly a revolutionary game or genre, it's still good to see it pull through, because we kind of need more Portuguese games out there. Just saying.
Yeah, definitely not a bad game, and good on them. But this one also made it, and we're going to give this a mention because it had a demo.
Yes,
it had a demo before they launched the Kickstarter, so good on them for that.
Oh yeah. This is Zed. It's being created by one of the guys behind
Pedro, I gotta stop you right there. It's inexcusable you did not open with that with Zed's not dead. I'm sorry.
Look, pop culture references, they don't hit so well with me because I'm Portuguese.
This entire podcast is one giant Pulp Fiction reference. Come on.
But yeah, this is that. It's being created by one of the guys that worked at Cyan Worlds back when they created Myst. You may remember Myst, which was ported to just about every single platform in existence except Linux. But yeah, this is it's very, from what I got from the demo, admittedly, it's a very short demo. They actually called it a vertical slice. It definitely has the Myst feel to it, so they did good on that. And I could definitely go for a Myst style game right about now, so it's very good to see that they made it.
Yeah, definitely. Good on them and good on that demo. I know a lot of people are like, why are you going to talk about the System Shock thing? Well, it's Unity and it's a Linux stretch goal, so
Linux is a stretch goal.
Eat a bag anyway, and we're just all, as the Linux gaming community, going to sit back, relax, and wait for it to get done.
I got my popcorn ready. Do you?
This last story is here. I don't know why, but here it is.
It's kind of meta because we talked about the Escapist shutting down their Durham offices couple of weeks ago. So I figured, Destructoid decided to can the Destructoid UK team. Laura Kate, Joe Parlock, and Vicky Blake are officially out of a job, so to speak. Well, they were until Laura Kate actually managed to get like $20,000 a month on her Patreon to actually cover hers, Joe's, and Vicky's paychecks so they can keep on doing their thing under a new brand. But
she's making $3,200, not $20,000. But.
30. Okay, it was 2,000.
I was told there wasn't any breeding involved. Damn it!
It was 2,000, not 20,000.
I know number.
Sorry, but yeah, this was just a matter of time, considering how Kotaku really did take a pretty big hit when the Gawker Media filed for bankruptcy, and the Escapists, like I mentioned, they sacked their entire Durham office. It seems like the quote-unquote traditional internet video games media is taking a pretty big hit.
It is, but Pedro, I got some horrible news for you, though, man.
You do?
Yeah, you're not fired.
Yeah, no, your old pals at LGC aren't going anywhere. Bringing you quality journalism for years to come. We're like glitter or herpes. We just don't go away. But, you know, coming up next, we stab a bunch of people in the face, shoot them in the guts, but it's fine because they're zombies. They're bureaucrats. We just don't respect them. It's Dead Island in the Chairquisition. Well, we're talking about Living Peninsula here. It's the Ambiguous Edition, developed on the Techland engine, or developed by Techland on the Chrome Engine 6. It's around $20 depending on where you live, or 3,000 GBP if you live in the UK these days. And, you know, what is it? Welcome to the zombie apocalypse experience of a lifetime, and now more beautiful than ever. Caught in the mix of midst of an epic zombie outbreak on the tropical island of Benoi. Your only thought is survive and also chug all the Red Bulls. So this is the Chairquisition. If you don't know how it works, well, stay tuned, because it's the Chairquisition. 1 chair means that it's garbage. 2 chairs means that it's meh. 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. 4 chairs means that's awesome. And we apply these chair rankings to our categories of doom, mixed with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So let's kick this off. Then, how did the old beach ball go?
Oh, man. That's a lovely thing. Over here on the Ubuntu 1404 LTS, 8150, 980 powered 4K-ish displayed box of the business. It ran very well. No issues whatsoever. But, yeah, I definitely cannot kick the beach balls, man. Minus 11 chairs. Seriously, what the hell? I mean, that was like part of the entertainment of the original, was trying to kill a zombie with a beach ball because it took like half of 1 hit point off of it. When you're driving, one thing I like, steering wheel is on the right side. Literally, I enjoyed that. There's a few graphical glitches, but, you know, nothing to complain about considering that awesome performance, even with the AMD sauce. Definitely going to have to give it 4 out of the gate. Looking good.
I would give it 4, aside from one small issue. It fired up in UHD mode on the Fedora 22 powered 64-bit i7 6700K with the GTX 980 and the 32 gigs of the DDR4 RAM. And this thing eats at 4K. Holy shit. Like, the FPS counter will say 30, but it's just so inconsistent and so chuggy. It's miserable. And the cursor just becomes completely non-responsive. I gotta ding you a chair for that, because if you're gonna launch with that shit, you better make sure that it works. So 3 for me on mixed with the working.
Yeah, on the FX8370E on Fedora 23 64-bit with the GTX 970 Strix, I was admittedly surprised when I first got the game and I started it up. In game proper, it will use like 60 to 70% of all 8 cores on the FX8370E and peg the GPU utilization on the 970 at 100%. That's awesome. It's probably the first game that made it painfully obvious to me just how limited the 970 is, because it was actually getting bound by the GPU. The initial load, on the other hand, is single threadsville. It takes almost 2 full minutes to actually load. And then at specific points in game, there's some texture corruption. I'm not sure if it's the textures themselves or the anisotropic filtering, but whatever it is, it causes the screen to be filled out with the stretch version of that texture, and you can't see anything else. This is a problem in areas where there are loads of zombies and you can't see them. Also, I could never get multiplayer to work. I would almost be willing to excuse these teeny tiny issues as bugs which would eventually be fixed, but neither the developer, Techland, or the publisher, Deep Silver, want to provide support for the definitive edition, at least not on Linux. So for me, it gets 3 chairs.
All right, so that's 3 chairs for mixed with the working. Up next, now that I have my hood on and I'm no longer sitting in the eyes of our chairs, is the shiny and the sounds. Ben, how did the shine sound?
Brother Svang, welcome back. It is pretty. I mean, the graphical upgrade from the original Dead Island is hella noticeable. It genuinely is kind of like the difference between Metro and Metro Redux, or Metro Last Light and Metro Last Light, and all that business. I did learn something about the one of the islands in Space Australia. Apparently the sun never fuck mothering sets.
It's Space Australia, man.
I mean, it just doesn't. It sounds miserable. No wonder everything's upside down there. The character models, they're done well enough. Each environment, though, man, it's properly unique. I mean, there's like jarring, like the different places you can go. Like, it's the same game. Minus the sewers. Those are repetitive as fuck. And all
there's always a sewer section.
Yeah. Speaking of the characters, I kept waiting for the Mel Gibson-looking lifeguard to say something incredibly anti-Semitic. But disappointment aside, the rest of the voice work is top-notch and borderline believable. Pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's definitely another 3 chairs.
Honestly, I didn't really notice that big of a difference between the original release of Dead is Land and the quote-unquote definitive edition. I would say it looks about as good as a double or triple A game from 2011 can. Everything looks pretty. Everything's nice and detailed, like Ben said. Like it feels like a full resort. The full gamut of scenery that you would get from going to one of these places. And the voice acting is like competently but done. Your buddy John Cinemoy is Steve Bloom in Aussie mode. And I kept expecting him to tell me to see a Space Cowboy, and I'm a little upset he didn't. That'll ding at a chair. That'll actually just ding at a chair because it's pretty good but not astounding. So it gets 3.
Yeah, as someone who actually played the original Dead Island for about 10 hours, I could see the difference. The Chrome Engine 6 does have some graphical improvements. And the graphics, yeah, they're shiny. They look about as good as you could expect, except maybe the non-zombie NPCs. The Uncanny Valley is a long way down, and they all look like they fell face first into it. What I really enjoyed about Dead Island Definitive Edition was, when it comes to the game's aesthetics, were the ones that you put in your earpieces. The background noise, assuming you've muted the music, it's like being drowned in eerie anticipation. It keeps you at the edge of your seat, even though, you can probably slash your way through anything the game might throw at you. It will still keep you, like, on edge. It's a very, very good soundscape. The voice acting was also very well done. Admittedly, some of those Australian accents sound kind of fake, but that's fair enough. This is all, of course, assuming you muted the music. I will not even address that. 3 chairs.
Crikey, that's 3 cheers. Dingo ate my baby shiny and sound. I'm sorry, Australian viewers, please don't hate me. We're sick of your horrible
was
deadly
almost
spider.
me level bad.
Listen, it is about as good as Steve Bloom's. But that's anyways. Up next is Control.
I don't understand what these yahoos had a problem with. I mean, it's your standard first-person zombie smash-a-thon WASD fest. You grab your gerbil, you go at it. I did initially have to go into the controls and adjust the sensitivity on the gerbil just a bit, but after that, there was no issues. I adapted. Good times were had and 4 chairs were given.
See, I had that issue where, like, I had fucked with the mouse sensitivity at 4K, which completely fucked it over when I switched it back to 1080p. So there's definitely some weirdness going on with that. Pedro has this whole rant that you can, tune at for if you need to go to the bathroom or take a nap or something. Everything else is map sailing, except for E and F should be switched, because I kept kicking things I wanted to pick up. And like Ben said earlier, it doesn't send them flying, which is very, very disappointing. So I'll give that 3 chairs.
Yeah, the mouse sensitivity is definitely jacked. I'm almost sure they are using some manner of mouse deceleration, and as is tradition in these cases, they don't give people an option to disable it. Why? What do game developers have against raw mouse input? Ugh, 3 chairs.
That's 3 chairs for controls. And finally, we have our final subjective category. Ben, did you have fun with Dead is Land?
You want to take this with a grain of chainsaw, because I never finished the first Dead is Land. Some people, you didn't have any bugs. And I was like, it's enough bugs for us. I was like, I'm out, I'm done. But I did put 2 arns into this fuck mother, and Vin don't normally put 22 arns into anything with the possible exception of Shadows of Hordor. hold the door. And that's actual gameplay with this game, because, you know, I nope side quest. I don't care. You're on the side of the road and like, help me, thunk. If I'm in the car, I'm just going to run you over. Now, admittedly, it does get a bit repetitive around the 18-hour mark, but only repetitive as skull-fucking zombies can possibly get. But that can usually be solved, because this incredible weapon crafting system that really doesn't kick in until after like 5 hours in. Then they just start raining from the skies and you have crazy things. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the bat with the saw blade in it. I was looking forward to that. And I'm going to give everyone a non-spoilery pro tip. Do some of those side quests that I did before going past the point of no return. Once you get there, you'll know where you're at. Don't go back, take care of business. It does lose a chair, though, for two things. One small and one really big one. The first one is multiplayer, because multiplayer in this game is hella spotty. When it works, it kind of works, and sometimes people just disappear. Getting connected can be a chore, and by the time you get connected, you might not even want to play the game anymore. So maybe they'll fix that, but they probably won't, because, you know, even the little bugs might not get sorted because the developer and the publisher are kind of at odds, pointing fingers at each other going, I'm not fixing it, you fix it. And the hubbub of, you know, Deep Silver's like, we didn't even say make a Linux port. And they're like, well, why is it out? Why are you selling it? That's kind of a thing. So, yeah. Still a fun game, though. I mean, it's completely playable, completely finishable, and you don't need a stupid high-end system to get the job done. I'll definitely give it 3.
Yeah, I mean, this is Diablo with zombies and some painful driving sections that you'll eventually get used to and be able to tolerate once you realize it's a fantastic way to grind out experience points. And, you know, when you engage the game in that level, it's kind of fun. It's Borderlands in a resort. Plus, it is super satisfying to go full-on American History X mode on some of these zombies, especially if you're playing the sword chick and you get the jump attack. You just do flying kicks of death to their heads and then just stomp their heads in. It's very satisfying. It's quite cathartic. I might pop into this game when I'm feeling mad just to murder some people. But like Borderlands, playing on my own, it gets kind of boring. The quests are all really the same. Go find X number of items, bring this thing to go over here. Just your plain old go-to place. But I mean, all in all, the zombie smashing is fun. The crafting, I really wish they opened it up fairly early on, because like you can only build so many deodorant bombs before you get a bit tired of it. And yeah, I'm one of those people who will go around, unlike Ven, who will just go straight for the plot. I obsessively go and try to complete all the side quests because I'm an experience and loot whore. And yeah, that part of the game was entertaining. But I really wanted a chance to try out multiplayer, because this seems like getting together with your friends and killing some zombies could be fun. Though that's kind of like Left 4 Dead 2 in a way. Speaking of which, Left 4 Dead 2 has completely fucked up my ability to like headshot things with melee weapons in this game, because I keep going for the neck and it keeps missing, and it's like, God damn it! I just want to chop your heads off with my big old machete. Actually, Ben, who did you play as? You played as the
Misha,
chick.
the weapon expert.
Yeah, I did the sword. Pedro, who'd you play as?
Yeah, the exact same one you did.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of variety in the game style. The combat is fairly dynamic. It's pretty fun. It's just I got a little bored of it fairly quickly, as I do with these sorts of games. So I'll give it 2 cheers.
Yeah, that is land definition additive as all the makings of a great game. But when it comes down to it, it's only a good game. It has a grounded set of mechanics, whether you like the MMO style of combat of having to rely on the numbers instead of skill proper or not, is up to you. Personally, I don't mind it. In fact, in that specific subgenre, I'll take Dead is Land over Borderlands any day of the week. The non-zombie NPCs, like I mentioned, all look like they fell face first into the uncanny valley, and the voice acting is often, it's not bad, it's just forced, and it gives, well, it makes it painfully obvious just how much of a tone dissonance there is in this game, and there is a lot of that. The plot and the NPC dialogue want to evoke a heart-wrenching story of people who lost their loved ones to the infection, and now you must help them or put their relatives to rest. But then the combat and your own character, if we're being honest, are constantly celebrating the dismemberment of said loved ones when you land a critical hit. And you just get a random disembodied shout from your character saying like, awesome! Or that must have hurt, or something along those lines. It's like, that's not in line with the rest of the tone at all. And now either all four of the protagonists are sociopaths and the game is actually a genius rendition on the irony of sociopathy, or the plot was developed in a completely different time zone than the rest of the mechanics. On top of that, those nagging technical issues I've mentioned up to this point are compounded by the fact that neither Deep Space Nine or TechWater seem to want to fix them. And you get a game that really doesn't live up to its potential. And there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of content. There's even a lot to appeal to different playstyles and the people who actually approve of those different playstyles. But all you really get when it comes down to it, and the music stops rocking, is a janky, albeit engaging zombie game. So for me, it gets 2 chairs.
Just one thing to add on Pedro's comment regarding your sociopath player characters. This is your standard murder hobo paradigm that every single action game falls into. You go from place to place just killing people because that is what the game expects you to do. If you're supposed to have pathos, you get it through like these little cutscenes or dialogues, and that doesn't really happen because you don't experience it.
Dissonance.
You're too busy killing zombies. Welcome to any game of Dungeons and Dragons. Well, that's 2 chairs for fun. Wrapping all that up, that is 2 chairs for Dead Is Land Definitive Edition. Final thoughts?
Well, I will say, I want to correct you. There's a ton of cutscenes and dialogue in this game. Maybe you just didn't get to it. And it's always kind of fun.
I didn't say there isn't any.
Okay. It is kind of fun once you get done single-handedly playing in Forever Alone mode, slaughtering everything, and you're down to like no health, and you're like, then it goes to the cutscene, and there's 4 people around you, and you're just like, fuck, where were you at? Where were you at during all of that? That's definitely a thing. However, I will say, when this thing was launched on the 3rd of June, it was £3. 3 wet stinky cashes, man. And
if you own the original Dead Island.
If you own the original Dead Island. Now, most people already did. There is a bit of a hubbub because they ended that promotion early, and a lot of people were just full of shit because they're like, I was just about to buy it, and it ended it. And it's like, you weren't just about. If you saw something that was £3 and you knew it was there and you didn't buy it, you weren't going to fucking buy it. Fuck off.
Yeah, originally that sale was supposed to go on until August 1st. If you had the original Dead Island or Dead Island,
too many people
Riptide.
were buying it. If we're being honest, that's where like, ooh, shit.
Yeah, that is totally what happened. But yeah, it was kind of a dick move to end it earlier. But when it comes to Dead Island Definitive Edition itself, it's hard to say get it or don't get it. I like it, I do. But I'm one of those people who will tolerate an incongruous or inconsequential story/tone in favor of a sound set of mechanics. And the mechanics in Dead Island are definitely my cup of tea. They might not be for you, though, so...
I mean, it's an okay game. If you like Borderlands style shooters, this will do something for you. Or even if you like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun if we ever sit down and get like a multiplayer game going with.
Yeah, honestly, this game needs multiplayer. It would be really, really fun.
Working multiplayer. It has multiplayer.
But that's a pipe dream.
Okay.
But coming up next, we do some shrooms and drink some Crystal Pepsi. It's going to be interesting.
All of a sudden, I have this idea to just build a wall around Portugal for some reason. But hey, enough of that. Let's talk about some hate mail. If you want to get in touch with us, you probably already know how to do it. Just go on over to linuxgamecast.com, hit the contact button, fill out the form. It's easy enough. Just, let us know if you want to send some hate mail for Linux Gamecast Weekly or some feedback for Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays. And we'll be happy to feature your thing. Or say if you want to just leave a comment on the YouTube video or
you can take that hat off now. It's weirding me out.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of getting half chub from that.
That's a good prop, man. It's just creeping me out too much.
This better not awaken anything in me.
But yeah, as I was saying, you can just leave a comment on the YouTube videos, or if you see the post show up on one of your favorite social networks, you can just leave a comment there, and chances are we'll get right back to you right then and there.
Contact us on Patreon, and we will get back to you.
Patreon, yes.
And a line. That is the best way to get in touch with us.
All right, so first up, Tim. He said, so Ven may claim that having attempted to install Linux on a dead badger back in the days, but I'm uncertain if Reginald the monocled badger that lives in a shepherd's pie would approve of such thing. And then he shows a YouTube link to the...
So here's my thought process, and let me know if maybe you see any issue with it. If he's in the pie already, that means he's been in the oven, which means it's dead. Which means we can install Linux on it. So somebody please get my tongs already.
He actually posted the link to that John Oliver,
the John Oliver bit about the Brexit thing. Listen, man, if it doesn't matter how your badger died, you can still install Voodoo Linux on it.
Hey, man, Voodoo Linux. I mean, and every Linux users, I mean, that's a rite of passage is the first time you install Linux on a dead badger. I mean, it's the instructions are online. Look them up. They're not that difficult.
Well, I mean, there's also an AUR repository for it.
Of course.
This is art we're talking about. Come on.
All right, up next. All right, this is from Frere A of the Asgard High Council, and he says, I've recently been trying to find a game that's so bad it's good, but not really. Although I'm not sure, I'm starting to think it might be Bloodnet. If the intrepid crew of LinuxGameCast is willing to review that game, or a worse one, then I will increase my Patreon support by 1 tier. The gauntlet is thrown. What do you say, chaps? Man, the grammar in this, Frere, I know English isn't your first language, but yeah, I'll even pay for the review copies of whatever game you choose is probably the worst game on Linux. Well, I mean, we've already reviewed Curse of the Raven's Cry, so...
I'm pretty sure we've already reviewed Bound by Flame.
You totally misenunciated shrooms.
No, you see...
Well, to be fair, we didn't review Shrooms. We just tried and failed to play it.
And we also reviewed Legends of Aetherius.
This is true. Also, what was the most like gothic naming mobile port Skyrim wannabe, whatever, the Shadowblade or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, Ravensword Shadow
Ravensword. That was definitely a thing.
Yes.
Freya, you've already kicked in with the Patreon. You've upped the Patreon. Absolutely, thank you for that. So that means that you've came in on your half. So we will counsel. And it will not be an early access game. You have set us to look to see if we can find the worst Linux game. It might take us a week or two, but we're definitely going to get on that.
Well, I mean, for Bloodnet at least, I have a soft spot for 90s FMV games. And that's
Seventh Guest.
Yeah, so I mean, we can give it a look.
For me, Bound by Flame fits exactly into my definition of a game so bad it's actually kind of charming.
You mean the one that you put like 100 arms into?
More like Bound by Lame, am I right?
Bound by Flame, I finished it in like, I had to play through it twice, but I finished it in like 40 hours.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on that bombshell, let's cue the music, because you can always find us around 9:30 Eastern time. Just type that into your web browser, and you will be able to sort that business. I'm Vince Stone. You can always find me at Vince Stone on the Twitter nets, plus Vince Stone on the G+.
I'm Jordan Svung. You can always find my blood on the net at The Burning Fool on Twitter, or plus Jordan Svung on Google+.
And you can always find me contemplating whether or not to burn this damn thing. Whether or not to burn this goddamn thing on at unaccounted for on Twitter, or plus Pedro Mateos on Google+.
So I guess at the end of the day, we just got to remember that politics is a thing, and everyone's celebrating freedom. So yeah, we lost. Have fun.
Yeah, and it's also Canada Day this weekend. So welcome back to Nazi Canada.
Keep calm, bitches. Keep calm.
No! I'm gonna be wild! Whoa!
Oh man, is the real world still a thing? We need to see if we can get you.